Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about Mirage. And Mirage is a Warframe that I hear the community talk about a lot. And that, she does all this damage and she's really great, and she is, but what they, I think, fail to say half the time, or what I don't hear, a lot, is just how kind of squishy she is. But I have found a build that works around that. The build does rely on you like using her abilities to a degree, so you do have to be a little active, but it's not like a big ass. You're not casting an ability every like 0.5 seconds or anything like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and get into the build here and show this off. First off, I'm going to go over the Archon shards. Depending on the changes that you make to the build, these are all to taste. For me personally, I'm not running a prime flow, so these max energy shards are giving me a bunch of energy. And then I'm running a casting speed shard to just kind of speed up some animations. This can be, if you're going to copy my build, this is like the one thing here with the shards that can probably just change if you're not running prime flow. This could be max energy on spawn. This could be like more duration. This could be more power strength. This could be an equilibrium shard if you want to just be even better on energy. It's really up to you. And then to get into the build here proper, got Briefer Sprite in the Aura, Prime Sure-Footed in the Exilis, Total Eclipse Augment. This is really good because this gives your Eclipse buff to all of your allies. Now, granted, with our minus range here, you're not going to necessarily be sharing it with your whole squad, but the point is that your Eclipse buff goes to your Shadow Clones, and it also goes to your companion because they're, well, effectively right next to you, so they are well within 5 meters, so this will hit, they will get that buff. Fast Deflection for faster shield recharge, Primed Continuity, Augur Message, and then Narrow Minded for a bunch of duration. Augur Message is in here for the secondary effect as well, because when we're casting abilities, we're also gaining a bunch of overshield as well, which is really nice for the build. Just adds a little extra layer, if you will. Transient Fortitude and Blind Rage, just a bunch of power strength. Mirage loves two things, and she can't get enough of them. That's power strength and duration. And then rounding out the mods here, we have Rolling Guard. She gets a SAS effect on her. Just roll, you'll be fine. And for the Arcanes, we have Arcane Expertise. Gains a bunch of shields based off her power strength. The amount of shields that she has is almost as much as a prime redirection, which is kind of crazy. And then to pair with all these shields to help with like the shield tanking kind of aspect of this build, we have Arcane Aegis. And then for the subsume that I put on Mirage, I have Omamori. And Omamori works with basically her little Hall of Mirrors here with her Shadow Clones, because when Hall of Mirrors is active, the enemies are going to target the clones and not Mirage, and then these two basically kind of like stack to give Mirage basically a bunch of like pseudo kind of like dodge chance. So the odds of enemies hitting you, outside of like a big just AoE thing or whatever, goes down fairly dramatically. And then on top of that, if you do get hit, you have Aegis. If your shields break for whatever reason, you can Rolling Guard, and then you can cast your 4 or whatnot to just get some shields back, and then Fast Deflection kicks in, and then it just starts regenerating your shields. So it's very, very hard, assuming that, like both of these fail, and that Aegis fails, or your shields just get blown off, that then you just can't become invincible and your shields just start coming back. That typically does not happen to me, and when it does, I get my shields basically right back thanks to Fast Deflection. So I have not died yet. Well, knock on wood, I guess. I have not died using this build. It is very, very hard for me to die with this, because in tandem with all the survivability, you're still using, like, you're not using the defensive 4 here. The whole point of this is we all want to use Mirage to kill shit. We don't want to use Eclipse for the 90% DR, even though that'd be nice. We want to use it for the 500% damage bonus we have. So that's why I have like all the survivability and all the layers on here, because I want this to focus on Mirage's, buffing and her just having a weapon and just laying waste to every enemy that she sees, and that's what this build does a very, very good job of. When I was talking about the Archon shards, I did mention that there was room in here for Prime Flow. That would go over the Augur message here. You would lose like some of the Overguard that you would gain from this along with the duration, but if you want to use the Archon shards for something else, this is probably where you throw in Prime Flow. And then for the second build that I have, it's pretty much the same. I just took out the Augur message for the Hollow of Malevolence, her augment mod for her first ability here, and then I went for Energized Munitions. So basically the aim of this build is to just use whatever your favorite AoE weapon is. If it's the like Kuva Brahma, if it's the Arcurius Prime, if it, just whatever fuck off AoE weapon you want to use, just throw it on her, use this build, hit your 2, use your 3, press your 1, and just kill everything. And for 11 seconds, for as long as Energized Munitions is basically up, you have infinite ammo. And with the damage buffs that you're getting from the Total Eclipse and the Hall of Malevolence here, you're just gonna tear through things. That being said, the survivability is somewhat similar to the Immortal build, but since we don't have Omamori here, we don't have that extra dodge chance, so the survivability does take a hit. So I would highly encourage you, when you're using like this build, to just run this in like captures or exterminates, or just something like that, where it's just something like quick and dirty. You can just go in, use your AoE weapons, kill a bunch of shit, fuck this guy in particular, and just kind of extract and just have just go about your business. This one is made for like a little bit longer, maybe more stressful times, and not just like a quick like 5-10 minute mission or anything. And then I did talk about the companion. We're going to be showing off Worm Prime here. Worm with the negate here is going to be cleansing us of our status effects that do get applied. And then I did mention that the Total Eclipse Augment does also affect your companion, so this is going to be basically like a damage setup for the worm, so that the worm can also do damage in tandem with us and our clones. That's the reason for like the duplex bond down here and the contagious bond and whatnot and all this kind of stuff. Says our worm will be doing a lot of damage just along with us. Mirage's buff is pretty crazy. And then we've got the Burglass Prime here. Ignore the rivet, it doesn't exist, just use this. I promise it will work just as well. This is what you would run if you don't have a ribbon. Just stick with this. Don't use a ribbon if you don't have it. Just trust me. It is not that much better. I just got lucky with a few rolls. Trust me, it ain't worth it. But Worm here with keeping Mirage alive and survivable is very nice. Oh, also with Worm here, if you didn't want to use the contagious bond, you could also just use the reinforced bond. If you wanted to have the more fire rate here, you just put that over the contagious bond. Probably something I should suggest, because I know a lot of people like Worm for that. Figured for the Primary, I'm just going to use the Trumna here, the Trumna Prime. Just feel like using just a big old LMG and just kind of, laughing maniacally and just kind of shooting everything with Mirage right now. Nothing too crazy with the build, just kind of standard, Serration, Primary Merciless, Prime Shred, Galvanized Chamber, just, viral, crit, heat, just, the standards here, I feel like. I do have Prime Stabilizer, though. I'll throw that. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, just the normal offenders, just like just a normal average, just like good build. Then I'm going to be using the Furious here. And yes, I have a ribbon for this, but again, not really all that needed. All you need to do is just get that down there, move that over there, and then the polarities won't line up exactly right because, again, I do have a Riven, but this is basically what you would run if you didn't have a Riven and you wanted to copy the build. This is more or less what that would be. And it still does very, very well. There's that. I'm using the Praetos here just as a just movement tool, just to make things a little bit more mobile, because again, you do need to be a little mobile when you are using Mirage here, just so that you take advantage of like the dodge chance and everything else, and like enemies attacking her clones and all that kind of business. All right, I think that is everything, and I think that does it. So let's go ahead and get into the survival here. All right, and then to get some energy.
Foes. Underestimate them at your peril.
That. Here we go.
They have just shut down all systems.
Alrighty, so
Sending
2,
life support
then
capsules
1,
your way.
then 3. As soon as this door opens, there we go, and then we can just kind of shoot to our heart's content. I think that was Worm Prime just doing. I think Worm Prime is doing work. Oh, that's too funny. Here we go. There we go. I have not let go of the trigger yet. This weapon just has a lot of ammo. And this is what I wanted, just to use a gun and just kind of kill shit. This is why we like Mirage. Merciless making this reload faster is very, very nice. Actually, I have a big... Boom! Fuck up AoE! Alright, abilities are down. Bring these back up. This is the build. This is just using her and doing millions and millions of damage basically per hit, more or less. I'm not having any issues. I'm just running around, just casting abilities. I'm just being a little active. Again, nothing crazy. I'm not always casting abilities. I'm just making sure that they're always up. I'm just making sure that I'm moving. And I'm making sure that I'm shooting. That is the name of the game. And I have been fine. Woo! Like a hot knife through butter. Boy, I've got clones, my companion has clones, we all have clones. Alright, just back to Trumna for a little bit. Yeah, we've got 2,200 shields because of the abilities we have. Oh, use a Memori. But yeah.
Tenno, prepare for life support.
This is it, and you just don't die. I do run the other munitions builder and just throw on the Brahma if I just want to do a capture mission or something. Or an exterminator, just something really quick, just get up high, blast things, and just kind of move about my day. Oop, I'm stuck in the
Another life support capsule.
Alright, I don't know what hit me, but I did take a little bit of shield damage, but nothing crazy. And then we see Omamori there to block a bullet. Oop. Actually, I should use the Trumna more. This is a pretty fun weapon. update is next week, and I cannot wait. To see how full he is. Millions. Literally millions. And that's why I have casting speed, just so that I can just recast everything really quickly and get back to shooting everything. Oops. Okay, I guess I wasn't hitting him. Where is he? Hello? There he is. Goodbye. Oh, would you look at that? I did get hit, but then he just activated, so I wasn't dead at all. World is still up in the status if I could have had. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm telling you, if you have had issues with surviving with Mirage, give this build a shot. I really haven't had any issues with energy, survivability, damage, like anything. Like this build is the actual like genuine McCoy here.
Made their first discovery.
Where the fuck am I going? Here we go.
Keep up the good work.
Man, 5 minutes passed really fast.
When you are ready, go to extraction.
All right. Well, that is the little end of the video. I hope you learned something. I hope I showed you something neat. Give the build a shot if you want to use Mirage. I've been using the build for a little bit now, and I'm a big fan of this. I'm going to be using Mirage a little bit more in the future, because I really like Mirage, but man, her surviving is just a problem. All right, well, thanks again for watching. Take care, and later.